Greetings and salutations. Aloha. Happy Monday fun day. Because Sunday shouldn't be the only day that's fun. In fact, every day should be fun. And if you need help, talk to my alter ego, MC Fazio, who surely knows how to put the FU in fun. Let's free all the people, everyone under the sun. So it is Monday, a glorious Monday, Monday the 13th of May. Yesterday was Mother's Day. So word to you mamas out there, because technically Mother's Day should be every day, just like Earth Day should be every day, Father's Day should be every day, birthdays should be every day. Like appreciation shouldn't just be confined to one day of the year. Although, if that's what we get, that's what we get. But if you've been following this podcast, I think you can assume or assess, probably is probably a better word, assess that I definitely dance to the beat of a different drummer. And sometimes the drummer goes in and out of rhythm. And, Monday traditionally is the beginning of the work week for most folks out there. And so I utilize it as my business planning, gathering, strengthening day, reflecting, and how can I take things to the next level? How can I be successful? And success is subjective. What might be successful to me might not be successful for others. But the first success that we all face today, if you're listening to this podcast, is, hey, you woke up and you're still in the game. I haven't spoken about it in the past couple of episodes, but it's still May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, I'm just going to give that shout out to, I've gone through stuff in life. I'm still going through stuff, but I've learned to handle and manage it better because here's an analogy I came up with this morning. Imagine going to the amusement park, right? Life's like a roller coaster, right? So imagine going to the amusement park, and you get to the roller coaster, but then there's a steering wheel on the roller coaster, but then the track is still the same. So it's kind of like really frustrating, especially if you see to the right a treasure chest with like money pouring out of it. You're like, yeah, I want to get some of that, but you're kind of stuck on the roller coaster track. Like the track is what the track is, and it's not going to change no matter how many times you go on the roller coaster. And man, that Aerosmith roller coaster I've been on several times in a row, down in the Hollywood studios and Disney, and it's fun. It's really, really fun. I don't expect it to change. I know what the ride's going to be. But I think the life that we live right now, it's interesting because there kind of is a steering wheel, but there, unbeknownst to us, I feel that there's a track. And sometimes it might be upsetting if things don't go our way, but there's so many successful people that'll use this verbiage of life happens for you, not to you. A good example is my vehicular device is not functioning properly as best as I'd like it right now. So for a little bit, I've been traveling by foot, bike, and it's been amazing. And it's been, I think, a necessary happenstance because I've been able to see things at a different level. Like when you're in a car and you're driving so fast, like you go by things and you don't appreciate them. Like I found not only a waterfall on my Earth Day walk to the Edenville General Store, but I also found someone's Frisbee disc from Frisbee Golf that was on the side of the road right by that waterfall. Now, the interesting thing, like it's not even near a course. So maybe, I don't know, friends of them or they, were over somewhere and, flung it and it skipped across the waterfall pond. I don't know. Maybe it fell out of the back of their pickup truck as they hit a bump. Who knows? But luckily, there was a phone number I found on it after cleaning it, and I've contacted the person, and eventually they'll pick it up. But these things I would have never have seen had I just been driving by in a car, vroom, vroom, vroom. And this is why the turtle beats the hare. Well, tortoise beats the hare every single time, because they're just taking things in stride. And I, I'd like to think the turtles are happy, and they're kind of like chill, because I know when I move slower, and my buddy Suki for so long has been trying to get me to slow down. Um, but when you slow down, you can smell the roses driving by. You look at them; they look pretty, but you don't get a chance to smell them. And in this realm, like smelling the fruits of your labor, whether it be oranges or apples or bananas, bananas. It's one of those things that is often overlooked. So I find if you go to the music park and you just let the ride be what the ride is in your life, and just know that you're buckled in and everything's going to be fine, then everything's cool. But I guess that's where faith comes in. And for all you atheists out there, like, how do you deal with being buckled in to some things that don't really go your way? I wonder how that functions. I mean, I'm just to give you full disclosure, I'm kind of omni-religious. I believe there's good in all religions. It's what you see in it. And I think for myself, it's been insightful and humbling to go to different religious facilities to worship and connect with the congregations, and get a better understanding, because I don't believe religious war should ever be a thing if, in fact, we are finding the core message of those religions, which is usually, in my findings, like, be cool. It's a simple, religion. In fact, I think that's my religion. I'm in the chill religion. Just be cool. Like, let people be who they're going to be. Don't take on their energy. Don't over project. Like, just be yourself. And if people like it, great. If they don't, then let them find their tribe. But if you're like going through life on this roller coaster and you get upset that the steering wheel isn't working, well, that's kind of the way it works sometimes, because you might have a goal, and the universe, God, the Matrix, whatever you believe in, finds a different way to get you there. So it all comes down to, what is your plan, like your vision, and just putting it out there. And I find that the more I plan things and put it out there and don't have necessarily the exact blueprint set, things will come to me, and they're starting to come to me. It's been, the past week has been super amazing. I've made so many great connections by just visualizing, putting it out to the universe, but B, changing my quote unquote routine. I'm a very unroutine type individual, and it's because I find that when I get stuck in a routine, then life becomes kind of flavorless. It's like waking up and drinking water every day and having ice for lunch. Like, it is what it is, and that's why shaking things up, changing diet, to some degree. I mean, I don't go so random that I have no foundation, but like even sleeping patterns. I've been working on all this stuff. I just do my best to get a total of between 6 and 8 hours a day. Now it might be going to bed at 2 a.m. and waking up at 6, and that's 4 there, and then taking a 2-hour nap during siesta time. There's so many different ways to cut it around. And then from diet, I swing like a pendulum, going back and forth on living a meatless diet. But then the animal music, rawr, rawr, rawr. I'll be at a party or an event or something like that, and someone's got a burger, and I'm like, damn, that smells really good. But then I think of, moo, are you gonna eat me, moo? And then it's like, cows are people too, just different types of people. And then so are chicken, and so are fish. And then you even go down to the plants. Like broccoli has has energy in it, and there's something going on in broccoli, and trees communicate, so everything is something. So I guess it's just about being humane and compassionate. But I do notice when I am eating a primarily vegetarian slash pescatarian fish, diet, um, I am cleaner and leaner, literally and figuratively, and I am more fluid. It's like the movie Scott Pilgrim Saves the World, one of the coolest movies out there, where the guy has to fight his evil ex girlfriends, and then at one point, um, the people he's fighting are like they're vegans and they have superpowers, and I feel like that. There was a time period where for 4 months I was super clean, eating no meat, little fish, a lot of veggies, and I felt like that. I had all that going on there, and I think part of it. My friend Alia said this to me back in like 1997, 98. We went to this market on 6th Avenue, um, right at the north part of Greenwich Village. I forgot what the name of the it was a healthy food store, and she was like, I don't want to eat any eggs or any chicken that's not organic and cage free and all that stuff because you take on the stress of the animal. Let that sit for a little bit. If stress is energy that hasn't found release, then you kill it, put it in a package, and then eat it. Are you taking on that energy? I know I've gone all over the place in this episode. The tree branching is insane, but I've had such like a great past couple of days. Even though, like I said at the beginning of this episode, like I go through stuff and I process things, and sometimes I have my lows. And yesterday was a low high, a low high. I haven't talked to some family members in a while, and me and my partner, my separated wife, we're going through some stuff, and so if I focused on the negative of the disconnecting and why I've isolated for a little bit, mainly just to maintain mental health. And this is something that I don't think my family and my spouse or separated partner understands, that I'm a different guy, like I said before, right? And if people don't understand, that's fine. They don't have to understand how I think or how I do things. But if they don't respect it and allow me to be myself without overly offering advice that aligns with their values and beliefs, overly tell me I need to do something because this is wrong, that into itself I find to be wrong, because that's not allowing me to embrace my free will. Now, advice is great, but an abundance of unsolicited advice and it doesn't help. So for Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm going to say, if you're ever going through stuff, they got support and resources out there. Like the number 988 is a national number. You're in crisis. They can provide all different types of support and resources. But even the cool line for the show, like seriously, if someone called me and said, hey, I just want someone to talk to, I'd talk with you. Because I know sometimes it gets lonely out there trying to find someone that just wants to listen, that doesn't want to solve you, doesn't want to fix you. Like, realistically, I know how to fix myself. If I'm giving the resources, the space, and the time to do it, I can do it. Now, a lot of those things I'm not afforded all the time. Resources being number one right now. But that being said, I'm still finding ways to heal myself in my introspection and going through my thought process of how can I better myself? How did I damage this relationship? How did I not reach my success? And how am I projecting my failures out on other people? So I don't do that, because that's a thing. Like, if people, I find like in the past that I've projected my bullshit onto people because I wasn't able to solve it. And then I think that's what we kind of do as energy beings. We try to find a solution, and sometimes we don't vocalize it. We just we take it out in different ways, whether it be overeating or consumption of different things, whether it be alcohol or other substances, and then we don't process, and then we could get more confused and go like, why am I not successful? Why is life failing me? Well, I've looked in the mirror and said, why am I failing myself? And a lot of it started with like, do I have a plan? Like, am I going to the amusement park, and do I know which roller coaster I want to get on? Because if you're standing in line for the Tower of Terror, and by no means will am I totally calling you out on this, but it was kind of an eye-opening moment. Like, we were online, me and my wife, and we were online for Tower of Terror in Disney, and then we got on the ride, and you know that photo at the end, after you've been on the ride, she was totally like clinging on to the person next to us, like she was like in fear for her life. She said, I'm never going to ride with you again. And I think that's kind of been our marriage. Like, I am who I am, and I have photos and videos and songs we wrote together at the beginning of our relationship. So I think she kind of knew who I was, but I don't think she was really paying attention. Like the Tower of Terror, we stood on this line watching the thing fall, and if you were looking at it, and then when we got on, like, she wasn't expecting that to happen. And so I apologize. I will never do that to you again. I didn't do anything, really. I don't think. I didn't. We stood in line together. But the point of the matter is, like, choose a good roller coaster. Choose something that vibes with you. If you don't like rock and roll music, then don't go on the rock and roll roller coaster in Hollywood studios. But I will say it's really one of the best roller coasters because the music of Aerosmith is so awesome. Joey Mack will attest to this. And you can just totally go on this thing, and it's like, it's fun. I think it's one of my favorite roller coasters. I think there should be more roller coasters like that. In fact, that would be cool. Like a rock and roll theme park would be awesome. Like getting put into an Iron Maiden and then going onto a roller coaster. Why is that not a thing? That would be so cool. And listening to like Run to the Hills. And then it could be like a history lesson too. Because Iron Maiden, even though a lot of people look at them as like these evil group, the Satan worshiping group, they're really intelligent bros that are that put out some really great contextual songs that make you think. So I've talked about a lot here, and so let's go down to the tree trunk of, hey, life happens for you, not to you. And so how does life happen for you? Well, first off, what you're vocalizing, I find, and what you're putting out to the universe does come into existence. Like, it's like a thing. Like they say, life doesn't understand necessarily the word you're saying, but it's the vibes, it's the feelings. And if you can really live a happy life and put positive vibes out there, and then put, your intentions in your brain, the things will start to gravitate to you. And in my experience, that's happened to me. So why I've been failing in life is I don't follow my own advice. And it's hard to cut your own hair and give your own brain surgery. It's definitely doable if you are very, very patient and skillful and look in the mirror a lot and really look in the mirror. And that's what I've been doing. And so I am in my situation I'm in right now, ultimately by choice of actions and decisions. And I guess I'm where I need to be right now because I'm learning a lot and I'm making all these great connections. And the key, though, is that sometimes you got to put the key in the car and turn the ignition. And that's where I'm at today. I don't aspire to be good, like if someone goes, you good? It's like, I want to be great. I want to be amazing. I'm not saying this in some sort of crazy hedonistic way. Not that, I'm against people living, how they want to live. Ethically, of course. But I'm saying, like, wouldn't it be nice just to wake up and it's like you roll out of bed and sunshine is beaming on you and you're feeling the birds chirping and the clouds smiling at you. Like, that's kind of how I like to wake up every day, happy and grateful and out there to to share it with the universe. Now, I know sometimes when I'm sunshine like this, the dark clouds are like, oh, we need more thunder and lightning. This guy's too happy. And I find that that's usually when people haven't done their due diligence to heal themselves, and hopefully they do, because I have so many people in my life that I feel for, and I see pain and suffering that they go through. But ultimately, at the end of the day, as much as we want other people to help us and save us, I cannot save you. I can't even save myself. Well, I can save myself. So that song lyric no longer is valid. And I'm saving myself. But I'm not doing it to be selfish. I'm doing it because if I want to help others, I got to be, living in a house with a solid foundation. And still, I'm kind of a turtle without a shell. But don't worry, I'm going to clothe myself before I come out into the universe. That being said, success is what you think of it, is what you make of it. And I find that I've had success, I've been successful, and the fact that I'm still alive and in the game is a success unto itself. That being said, sometimes you gotta start a spark, and so I know I've been saying this like the boy that cried wolf, but today I'm gonna be the boy that tried wolf, the lone wolf that's going out there, and I'm gonna woo like Shakira, because she's like my celebrity soulmate. Her and Melissa Villaseñor. I'll take either of those two. I think I could vibe with. Although, both have their pluses and minuses. Maybe both of them can walk in the park with me one day, and we can make funny songs and talk about funny stories of a humble life, of just being crazy kids, and we don't even have to make out. We could just hold hands, and I could be like the guy in the middle swinging the hands. That would be a dream date. Yes. I progress. So I've got to monetize my creativity. Because quite frankly, the bills don't pay themselves unless you're a president, and that's just the way it is. So I want to put more presidents in my pocket. I want to become more democratic and more respectful of this great country. So some Franklins, lots of Franklins, some Jacksons. Hey, listen, Lincolns, Washingtons, all the presidents. I ask of you to come infiltrate my wallet and find sanctuary there, so then I can share the presidents with the universe, because that is how we become masterful, not clinging on to the presidents in our pocket, but by sharing this great nation that, if in God we trust, into the future successfully will thrust. And so how do we get to greatness? How do we get to success? We got to spark it up. So I will finish this with some lyrics kind of in progress from something I wrote called How Greatness is Sparked. Before the spark, I'm already, Jack, this one, remix, that was a DJ scratching there, just so you know. How greatness is sparked. Before the fire came the spark, to awaken the heart from the infinite dark. An inspiration trapped inside, self-inflicting torture until you let it ride. Only you know what you can become. Stop telling, just show, let your vibrations hum. Because that's how greatness is sparked. Vibe high, learn to fly, then embark. You are the author, you pave your way. You can spark greatness every day. Blank page before you, time to write. Yeah, the end of that one is a homage to the alien in the sky, the sea alien do. Yes, if you know what I'm saying, he was a blessed soul, Mr. Stephen Caliendo. Such great conversations, and he was one that loved a healthy debate. He was a master debater, but with a heart unlike any I've ever met. And I really need to heed his first real meeting with me. Brian Smith had set up a meeting with him and me, because sometimes you need a different perspective. This is why parents, as much as you love your kids, sometimes you need to get another adult into their life just to kind of give them a different perspective or a different voice, because if you listen to the same radio station all the time, it just becomes like white noise. So Brian put up a meeting with me and Steve and Callie Endo, and it was a beautiful meeting, right there on Lincoln Road, at the Starbucks. And I remember, Steven saying, "See, Johnny, you've come very far in this company." And this is early into my Apple career too. This was like had to have been like 2008 in the winter. It wasn't that deep in. I think I had just become lead specialist, and he says, "You've come really far in your Apple journey, but you can only get so far on heart." And that's kind of like where I am right now in life. Like I am all heart, but the body, mind, and soul need to align in that to amplify the efforts. And so I need to spark myself up, literally, figuratively, and not right now, medicinally, but because sometimes, even though it might work for others, for myself, I like to think of myself as flying a spaceship. And if I have any sort of adulteration of mental capacity, I am unable to warp to light speed accurately. And if you're a millimeter fraction of a frame off of where your goal is, you could land in an asteroid field and blow your whole ship. And that's not what I'm looking to do. So hopefully I have sparked some greatness in you. Question of the day. Bum, 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 bum. What does it mean to be successful? And poll of the day. Are you successful? Choice answers are not yet, always, so close. So I'm going to call the cool line at 650-383-7469 and have Johnny, give me a spark of confidence. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all listen to my inner monologues, my outer monologues, and the logs in the forest of my mind. Thank you so much for being here. And if you find any value of this, definitely give me some feedback, but share it out to a friend, a family member, or even an enemy, because then you can maybe make some frenemies. And frenemies, I've had some turn into be some of the best friends in my life. Love you all. Peace and power to your dreams. And I will talk to you all sometime between now and later. You're listening to the Who the Heaven Is I podcast. Thank you for joining.